are here at Hollywood Smoke in the beautiful city of Santa Monica. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Doug Fischer and Dave Smith for another installment of 10 Count. Guys, November 21st from the Mandalay Bay, Miguel Cotto defended his WBC middleweight title, but we have a new champion, Sal Alvarez, with a clear-cut decision. Doug, me and you were there ringside. Taking aside Dave Moretti's scorecard, 119-109, which seemed a little bit extreme.
Yeah,
Did the judges get it right in general?
Yeah, the right man won that fight. I thought that it was Canelo who had command of the ring. I thought it was Canelo. Didn't let his hands go enough for my excitement. I expected a lot more in this fight. I was kind of let down a little bit. I thought it was a respectful boxing match, and I was hoping for a war. I was hoping for a battle of attrition. And I expected Canelo to wear Cotto down and stop him late, or wear him down and beat him up down the stretch of a decisive decision. I thought he won decisively, but he was very careful and picked his shots. The shots that Canelo landed, I thought, had a lot more effect than the shots that Cotto landed. And I'll say this about Cotto. I think Cotto proved himself to be one of the better junior middleweights in the world, even at age 35. I thought he boxed very well for a fighter with 15 years of professional wear and tear on that 35-year-old body. But I don't think he boxed in a way to really take over this fight. I don't think he boxed in a way to hurt Canelo. And in fact, I think he used his ring generalship mainly not to take control of the fight, but to limit the physical damage he took from the younger fighter.
I thought the right guy won the fight, too. I watched it when I watched it live on TV. I had it 117-111 for Canelo.
Correct
Just
score.
like us.
But then when I watched it again on mute, and I turned down the HBO cheerleading squad, they should have been wearing pom-poms and little Canelo sweaters on.
True.
When I watched it on mute, I had it 115-113 for Canelo. I had a little bit closer I think when you took the cheerleading aspect out of it. And I think a lot of times we get influenced by the broadcast crew if they're pulling for one guy. So I had a little bit closer.
So again, blame Lampley. Blame Lampley. Here's what I think. Like Doug said, harder, forceful punches I thought were all with Canelo Alvarez. I thought in the 8th, 9th round, the body language of Miguel Cotto and the way he started to really retreat, it was not boxing. Reminded me a lot of the first Margarito fight, but that's the one thing about Canelo, guys. He'll always leave money on the table at the elite level because he's so guarded in his output, tries to be almost too perfect, and I think that's going to be his downfall at the world-class level, that I think, Doug, at times, he's simply too measured.
Yeah, I think Canelo is a very entertaining fighter when he is in against an aggressive opponent. When he fights a guy who stands in front of him, like an Alfredo Angulo, or a guy who pressures him, like a James Kirkland, you see the beautiful combinations. Yeah. You see him working offense and defense at the same time, and you see a killer instinct. When he's in there with fighters who are going to box him, and especially fighters who utilize lateral movement, he's not willing to go out and hunt them. He's definitely not an Antonio Margarito, who was a pressure fighter and a volume puncher. Canelo is happy against boxers to stake out the center of the ring, and he says, hey, bring it to me. Because he knows that unless he's fighting somebody like Floyd Mayweather, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt of the close rounds because he has the crowd support, and he also is usually the guy landing the harder punches. So against somebody who's going to stick and move, we see him work defense without working offense, and when he works his offense, it's one punch at a time, which is a little bit frustrating.
Dave, how good is Canelo? Is he more marketability or actual ability?
I agree with Doug. I think he's a lot better when guys are coming right at him and he can throw those combinations. Didn't look too good against Erislandy Lara, against Austin Trout. You can make a case maybe he lost both of those fights, or at least a draw. So I don't know. And Floyd, I think, won easily when they fought.
That was a checkers player against a chess player.
Absolutely. How good a fighter really technically is Canelo when guys move on him? That's my question.
Yeah, I think he has slow, heavy feet, but one thing that's underrated about Canelo, upper body movement. Let me tell you something. One thing that's been impressive to me, especially in the Austin Trout fight, when I first saw it, he's pretty elusive. He's not an easy guy to hit. I just wish he'd get his hands moving a little bit more. I'll say this, though. I think all the people that say that Golovkin would blow out Canelo early. I disagree.
I do too.
There's one thing about
What about at
Canelo.
160?
Well, okay, let's say it's at a fair, reasonable weight for both men. I think Canelo is built physically pretty sturdy. I
Yes.
don't see him getting blown out of there.
Yeah, because whether or not he weighs in at 155 or 158 or 160, he's going to rehydrate to 170 plus, maybe 170 or 172 pounds. Like I said, he's a guy who likes to stake out the center of the ring, and he lets his hands go against aggressive opponents. And Triple G is a pressure fighter. He's a smart pressure fighter. He's a technical pressure fighter. But his whole game is to take the fight to his opponent, cut the ring off against an elusive opponent, or take it right to somebody who's going to try to stand his ground. And Canelo can do a lot of things on the inside. He has the upper body movement, the head and upper body movement to avoid shots, and he's got a nice body attack and combination punches when he's engaging with somebody who's willing to stand in there and test his mettle.
Dave, put on your handicapper's hat right now. If Gennady Golovkin fought Canelo Alvarez in 9 months, let's say September 17th of 2016, what are your odds on that? You're a betting man.
What's the weight?
Let's say 157 or 158.
I'd make 158. I'd make Triple G 2-1, 3-1 favorite. 58, because that's close enough
That
to
sounds
middleweight.
fair.
Yeah.
I'd say if it's at 55, though,
Yeah.
Triple G's ripped.
I don't think they'd accept 55.
No.
I
Triple
don't.
G's ripped. I don't know if he has any weight to lose.
No, he can't come down to a certain weight.
At
I don't think
55,
he's
I'd make
ever
him maybe
weighed
2-1.
that light his entire career, and he's in his 30s now, which means
Remember Don Lalonde
Yeah.
and Sugar Ray Leonard?
Right.
Brought
Light-
him down to 68, and he
Yes.
looked like a skeleton.
yeah, light ain't right when
Right.
you were in your 30s.
Yeah.
It's and coming in lighter than your body's natural weight is even dangerous for a fighter in his mid-20s like Canelo Alvarez. But I tell you what, I think Canelo was live in that fight just based on styles. And let's remember, these guys have sparred some rounds together.
Oh, they have.
They are familiar with
Yeah.
each other. Yes, in fact, Canelo tells me Triple G learned his Mexican style from sparring with him. Maybe that's just a young man's pride, Mexican pride. But I want to see how Triple G fares with somebody who can engage with him on the inside and is going to work that body. We really haven't seen that yet.
So there you have it. Your new WBC middleweight champion is Saul Canelo Alvarez. That's it for this edition of 10 Count. On behalf of Dave Smith and Doug Fischer, this is Steve Kim saying till the next round, goodbye, everybody.